Hi, welcome to Courses by Moss, where we teach the technical side of design. I'm Marisha, owner and sole designer at Moss Interior. With over 25 years of experience to share in both commercial and residential design, I'm here to teach and empower you to take on your own interior design project. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Marisha, and we are continuing with our DIY class on how to measure and draw your own space. In previous episodes, we sketched and measured our space. Now that it's on paper, we're going to be locating existing lighting, electrical, meaning outlets and switches, and plumbing. So let's move on back into the kitchen and we'll get started. If you're just joining us, go back 2 episodes and get caught up. Okay, so what are we covering today? We have our plan that we have been working on the last 2 episodes in the series. And what we need to do now is locate our lighting on the plan, as well as electrical outlets, switches, and plumbing locations. Probably one of the hardest things to locate on a plan accurately is ceiling lighting. Let's grab a new color pen. In a busier space or a larger space, I usually do a whole separate plan for lighting, but because this is just one room and there's not a lot going on, we're going to just put everything on the same sheet. We want to make sure it doesn't get too busy and too messy. So how I start first, I have 3 ceiling fixtures located in the center of my kitchen. So what I like to start with first is I just roughly locate them on the plan. And this is the symbol for a ceiling fixture. Circle with a cross through it. They're roughly located. We're always just going to go off the dimensions, but generally they're in the center of the space. There is also one centered over the table here in the corner. There is a small ceiling fixture. That is the symbol for a recessed can, at least the one I use. And there's also a wall sconce, which looks like so, centered over the sink. That is all the lighting besides under cabinet lighting that we have in our kitchen. Okay, let's locate. Probably one of the hardest things to locate on a plan accurately is ceiling lighting. And I'll show you my handy little trick on how I do that. So if you don't have a plumb bob, which not many people do, I made my own. This is the one that I always carry in my bag. It's just some string, twine, with something kind of heavy and solid on the bottom, and then I always have a roll of painter's tape with me. Anyway, this is what I use, and what I do is I tape this somewhere in center on the light fixture, so we can line that up. I would probably tape this to the bottom of the bulb and drop my string down to the floor, and then I will measure from there. Okay, so I've got my tape and my homemade plumb bob taped to the light. My string is dropping all the way down to the floor, and then we'll go ahead and measure. So we have our handy plumb bob on the ground. So what we want to do is measure lengthwise and widthwise to locate our light. Because I have cabinets in the way, we'll have to do a little bit of math. I'm measuring this from my little piece on the ground. I use a lock. So from my lock to the edge of the cabinets, because then I'm going to go from the edge of the cabinet to the wall and add those 2 together to get this spot. So we will do our measurement on the floor, mark your inches, and then we're going to add from the edge of our cabinet and countertop to the wall, mark our inches, and we're going to add those together. Okay, we measured from the edge of the cabinet to the center of the fixture. Mark your inches. And then we measured from the counter to the wall, which we know, but we're going to write it anyway. And then we'll do our math. I always write both, checks and balances. And now to get the second point of our light fixture location, so we're going to measure same thing from the lock to the opposite wall. I have a nice clear shot from the wall. Set that, line that up. Mark your inches. We measured from the center of our fixture to the outside wall. Now you have location of your first fixture. Now that we have our first light done, we repeat that same step for ceiling fixture number 2 and ceiling fixture number 3. Now that we know the location of our first fixture, we can measure along the floor from fixture 2 to fixture 3 to the far wall. I always try and get all of them. It's also a good way to do checks and balances. There we have it. I also have another ceiling fixture in this corner, and we'll do the same process where we will drop our plumb bob down from the center. We'll do the measurement from one corner to the opposite corner. Same process that we did with the other ceiling fixtures. On this fixture, it's the same. We measure from the outside wall to the side wall. Now we can locate our corner fixture. Last but not least, I have a small recessed can up here in the corner, and whether it's a can or a light pendant, it doesn't matter. Use the same process. We'll tape our tape to the center of that fixture, drop it to the floor, mark one wall, the adjacent wall, and that locates our fixture. Now marking our recessed can, we took dimension from the back wall. We also took a dimension from our side wall to locate our recessed can fixture. Moving on, I have one wall sconce in the kitchen, and that happens to be centered over my sink, but we will actually locate this a little bit differently, just as if we would locate a window or a door on the wall. So for me, probably the closest way to locate this fixture, I know that I have the measurement to the edge of my refrigerator, so I'm going to use that as my starting point because I know I already have that. So sometimes I'll eyeball this, especially if it's going to be demoed and removed anyway. I do eyeball it. I kind of just do one of these where I have a clear shot and then I know it lines up with the faucet. So I'll kind of use the faucet as my measuring point and then I'll mark it from there. But we're going to do it the right way. So I am measuring from side of my refrigerator to the center of the light fixture. Lo and behold, it's exactly what I measured off my faucet. Mark your inches. Another good thing I like to log for my own personal, it always comes up later. I was like, damn it, why didn't I get that? So I usually like to locate the J box itself. So yes, we have our fixture from here to the wall, but I always like to know how high it is so that if I am specifying a fixture to replace this, I don't want something that goes up and is going to hit my ceiling or hang down too low and run into something else. Whenever you can measure any and every part of a fixture, go ahead and do it. So I'm going to start at the ceiling and go to the center of the mount plate, which is the center of the J box. Mark your inches. Now to locate our sconce, we already have this dimension here at 38. Now we're going to measure from the side of the fridge to the center of our sconce fixture. And now marking the height, I was doing a little at symbol, and that is at 80 inches FFF, which means from finished floor, or we could do from finished counter because we already know the height of our countertop. That'll be your call on what will make the most sense to you. Now we have all of our lighting located on our plan. So now that we've located all our light fixtures, we are going to go ahead, go through that same process and locate all of our electrical outlets. Again, if you're doing a kitchen remodel, you're going to want to know where the existing power is in case you have to move something. A contractor's going to want to know that. Or you just want to know where everything is, so if you are really gutting and redoing your kitchen, you're not putting, a cabinet or a pantry over something that needs to be taken care of. Now, last but not least, we're going to eyeball locations of all of our switches and electrical outlets. Symbol for outlets is 2 lines with a circle, and that is a duplex outlet. So we have another one here. We obviously have one behind our appliances because there has to be one. And then we have another one here. So that is a duplex outlet. Very messy, but you get the gist. Now a switch plate, a single switch, a line with an S through it. That is a switch, an electrical switch. If there's more than one, sorry, my hand's gonna get in the way, you would just bank them like so. So that is a three switch. I like to draw them all separately. If we know exactly which switch turns on which lights,
bank them together in the drawing. This really helps the electricians know what switch works with what fixtures for future remodeling, relocation, and any adjustments you're going to make to your lighting plan. So the same way that we measured our wall sconce above the sink, we're going to pick a starting point that we know we have the measurement to. I know that we took the measurement from our far wall to the opening to my basement. So that is going to be my starting point to basically locate every single outlet on this wall. So we'll just do 2, and then the rest you just work in order and repeat around your kitchen. We're gonna start from the corner and go to the center of the outlet. Mark your inches. For the next outlet, there's 2 ways that you can kind of go about this. You can do each outlet from the same starting point, which depending on how busy things are, I like to do that because it's just a little bit more accurate. Or you can take center to center outlets and then just kind of mark that along your page. So we will do both. For the second outlet, we're going to start from the same starting point from the first. Going to center of the second outlet, mark your inches. The second way to do that is to take center to center, especially if they're close. That's an easy way to do it. I would just be consistent. So we have center of outlet number 1 to center of outlet number 2, and that's how we'll locate outlet number 2. Mark your inches. I'm not going to go ahead and measure every single outlet like I did for the windows and the doors. At this point, you should have that down. Same process. Start in a corner, have your starting point, work your way around the room so you don't miss anything. And same goes for light switches. So in my case, I would start with this light switch here. Outlet, 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 switch. Just work your way around. If you happen to know which switch works for which fixture, make that note. I will show you how to note that. So if we knew that this light switch here ran all of these ceiling fixtures, we do a dotted line. I'm gonna try and draw this without getting in the way. From that switch to this pendant. Now, never draw that. I don't know why, never draw that in a straight line. I believe what it does is just keeps the plans so you don't get this line confused with this line, confused with other lines. So they're always kind of squiggly and snaky. And now we know that this light switch here controls these 3 pendants at the same time. It is also on a dimmer. So you always want to put a little D next to your switch so that it shows that this is already on a dimmer, or in future plans that you want a dimmer. Trust me, contractors and electricians will love you for it. Okay guys, last part of today's lesson is we are going to locate the plumbing locations. Now, where that comes in handy is you're going to want to locate your dishwasher. To the center is fine. And same with your sink, drain, and or faucet. Those are the points that we're going to want to log on paper, and we go about that the same exact way that we would locate a window, a light fixture, an outlet, same process. Let's do one. So we are going to locate my faucet. By the way, if you have a chance to buy this faucet, it is awesome. I'll put a link in below, but this is my absolute favorite thing on the planet, especially if you have a big sink. I will buy this faucet always, every single time. Okay, moving on. So I am going to again use my refrigerator as my starting point. Now I could go all the way to the wall, which is always the safest way to do it, but on paper I have edge of the fridge to edge of the wall. So as long as I have to the edge of the fridge, I know what that math equals. Edge of the fridge to the center of my faucet. I'm gonna lock down this tape so that I can show you guys what I'm marking. So to the center, we want to go center of our faucet as close as we can get, all the way to the side of my fridge. And then on paper, I know I have side of the fridge to the wall. Mark your inches. Now we will want to run this long just to save yourself some time. Now that we have this set up, we have the center to our disposal button. You don't really have to mark that, but I don't know, I'm kind of a get everything while you're there. Mark your disposal button. Maybe you're keeping everything the same and you're getting a quote on getting your countertops cut. Every hole and location that you can mark for the fabricators, the more accurate your bid's gonna be. Then we have the center to our faucet, and then we have the center to our water filter faucet, depending on how many faucets you got going on over here. Everything from here moving forward will be used to create your interior elevations, which is what we will be working on next.
So guys, there we have it. We have located all our lighting fixtures, all our outlets, switches, and plumbing fixtures. We've marked them on paper, and next time we will take all the information that we've gathered and create interior elevations for our project. Thanks so much for joining. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining and bearing with me. I'm very new at this, hoping it gets better. Please like the videos, subscribe to the channel, and we'll do some really fun projects together. See you next time.